Hi, hello, welcome. Today we're making what I'm wearing, which are these Winnie the Pooh slash like teddy bear ear beanie. I had this yellow yarn, which I'll have down below, and I just needed to make something with it. So I used my yellow yarn, my 7mm hook, and I made this beanie. Now, this is definitely a beginner-friendly project. This is a perfect gift project. So if you are especially starting out and want to make gifts for people, a beanie is a great start. You can do it just through like the beanie part and not add the ears, or you can add the ears, whatever you'd like to do, you know. But I really like this material. It's soft and cushiony and will definitely keep you super warm. So let's go ahead and get started on this tutorial. I am currently going through my yarn stash and I found this yarn. I thought it looked like Winnie the Pooh, so now we're making a Winnie the Pooh hat. So this is something you could make for a child, for an adult. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. Make it for anyone who's a big Disney fan or a Winnie the Pooh fan. We're basically gonna do a beanie and add ears, but because it's fluffier, it'll be very like cozy. This will make a great Christmas gift. So I'm doing a 7mm hook, but I might need an 8. We shall see. We are going to do a starting chain. And depending on who you're doing this for is how big you will want it. This is 20, which would probably be pretty good for like a younger child. If you were doing a baby, maybe about 15. But I would say like toddler to younger child for like 20. But like I said, you would want to kind of measure it out because you do want to flip the bottom. So you'll want to make sure it's big enough to fit on the child's head. And I did 30, and I think this will be a good size for like a teen or someone with a smaller head. If you have a larger head, I would do another 5 stitches into your starting chain because like I said, you want a couple that will be able to fold over. Now, we are going to skip the first stitch once it focuses. There we go. And we are going to do a single crochet round, just a regular round. And for this, if you have 30, you'll have 29. If you have 20, you'll have 19. If you have 15, you'll have 14 stitches into your first row here. So this is row 1. And we are just doing single crochet, so going in, pulling a loop through, pulling all the way through every single stitch. And if you are new to crochet, it's very important to count to make sure you didn't skip a stitch, which will create gapping and reduce the size of your item. So for the 30 starting chain, we will have 29 single crochet stitches, and you're just going to go through the top loop of your starting chain here. We are now to the end. This is my 29th stitch. So I'm going to pull through again. Then I'm just going to simply turn my work, and you can see there is a V. At typical stitches, you'd go just through the middle, but because we are making a beanie, we are just going to go through the back loop. So you can clearly see there's a front and a back. We're just going to go through the back, pull through, and we're going to do that for every stitch. So you can see we're going to just go into the top and only through the back stitch. And we're going to go all the way across. And it's not going to be super noticeable with a like blanket yarn or a fluffy or a Sherpa yarn, but that is okay because we're not really going for like drastic like you would have with acrylic or wool. We're just kind of going to add a little texture to our project here. It's fighting me some. but we are going to do another row of 29, but only going into the back loop. I don't know why it is struggling to focus today. There we go. We have row 2. I keep wanting to say round. And something I personally like to do at the end of each row is just do a stitch, because that kind of helps. You can see how it like has like a dip. It kind of helps round it out and make it look a little nicer in my opinion. But anyways, so we are going to continue going into only the back loop. We are going to continue to flip our work and only go into the back loop. You can start to see the texture the further you go, how it kind of has this like ribbed look to it. So I don't know how many rows I will be doing, but I am just going to continue this pattern of just going into the back loop for an amount of rows, which I will tell you in the next clip. I did 38 rows of staying the same single stitch in every stitch, and then I cut the end of my yarn with a nice long tail, and we are going to sew these two ends together here. Now, you'll need a yarn needle, and we're going to find the end here. We're going to get this on to here, and we're basically just going to weave the two edges together to make one solid piece. So we are going to weave back and forth between these two pieces. So I'll have my finger here. We're going to go through the top stitch of each, and we're just going to weave back and forth through the top stitch of both sides, go across through the top stitch of both sides. And since it's nice and long, I like to do a few before I try and pull all the way through. But you should get a seam here of just going back and forth between the top stitches. And we're gonna do that all the way to the end. All right, so your hat should so far look like this. It might have like a thick seam on the side, which is fine. And now we're going to seal up the top here. So we have our yarn, and we are just going to weave in and out through these top stitches so you can see the stitches again. And we're going to just go back and forth through the stitches like so. Go in, and then the next one, go out. And we're gonna do that all the way around to the end. And once you've weaved all the way around, we're just gonna pull this till the end closes. So as you pull this piece, you'll want to be careful, especially with this yarn. You'll see your opening start to close. So this is what it looks like so far, and now we just need to add the ears. If you don't want ears, your beanie is done. It's nice and cozy, but if you do want the ears, it's time to add them. I went ahead and already did one ear and attached it, and now we are going to do the other. You'll need your yarn needle, hook, and we are just going to do a starting chain here of 5. So we will do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you want to leave a little bit of a tail so you can attach it to the beanie. And then we are not going to go into this first stitch, but we're going to go into the second one, and we're going to do single crochet stitches, and we're going to do 4. So 2, 3, and 4. Just like so. And then we're going to flip our work and do 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then flip our work one more time for 1, 2, 3, 4. And then our last row, We're going to flip our work again, but this time we're going to go into our first stitch, pull yarn through, go into the second stitch, pull yarn through, then pull through all 3 stitches, so you just have your working yarn. We are decreasing 2 stitches into 1, and we're going to do it again. So go through the first stitch, pull a loop through, go through the second stitch, pull a loop through. We have 3 loops on, pull all the way through to create 1 single stitch. Now we're going to snip and finish off our yarn and attach it. So we will finish off our yarn here, pull it tight, and grab our yarn needle. Now the start is what's going to connect to the beanie, and we need this piece to also be at the bottom here, so we're just going to weave it down here. Oops, sorry. We're going to weave it down so both pieces of yarn are at the bottom, and then we're going to attach it, and you'll do this twice. So I already did it the first one, but you'll do this twice. And then, once I get my yarn in here, sometimes this yarn is just really annoying to get on our yarn needle here. I did it slightly off the side here, and we're just gonna sew it on, like so. And by doing this already, it makes it easier to know which is the bottom versus which is the top, and we want to try and do our best to make them look even and symmetrical as we are attaching. So we're going to do like so. Then we also want to attach this side. So we are going to take this side. Once I get it on there. So now we have our opposite side, and we're just going to do the same thing, where we're just going to attach it and then weave the 2 onto the same side here. We're going to tie it off, weave in our ends, and then your beanie is complete. And I'll show what it looks like on at the beginning of the video. You could definitely double this up, so you could do 4 all together, stitch 2 together to make a sturdier ears, but this is a super easy and quick project, especially for someone who's like starting out and wants to make gifts for people. This would make a cute baby gift for a child, gift for an adult. It doesn't matter, it works for everyone, and it doesn't have to be Winnie the Pooh. You could use brown yarn and make it just bare ears, but yes, it is done and you're ready to wear it.